I share what I'm listening to and my thoughts on music and the business daily for free at helloyassine.com. What's poppin', y'all? The other day, Rolling Loud was going on, which is a festival that happens multiple times a year across different cities where it's mostly hip-hop. But a particular artist sent out a tweet saying the following: "How you say you looking for me, but you told LAPD." This artist's name is Benji Bluebills, and he's an underground rapper from Atlanta, or he's an upcoming rapper from the underground Atlanta scene, which has been burgeoning for, I would say, about the past 3 to 4 years. It's really been picking up steam. Playboi Carti's affiliates are amongst them, and they've got their own ops as well. Homicide Gang is also part of it. But in the reference to when he says, "How you looking for me," it's in response to a Playboi Carti lyric that he released in the song "You're the Moon" about a year or so ago. And in that, Carti says, whipping that hoe with the Fendi, I was looking for Benji. And Benji is reference to Benji Bluebills, who he clearly has beef with. Benji Bluebills was set to perform at Rolling Loud, and he's from Zone 6 Atlanta and is associated with Henchmen, the 5L gang. Now, a somewhat funny incident happened with a 5L member earlier this year where he was caught being non-heterosexual, let's say that. He was the opposite of what Dave Blunt's raps about. So he was not letting people know that he was straight. So he was rolling the other way, which is a no-go for that gang. It was an embarrassment for Henchmen. And then that guy was standing on the middle of a highway up in the sky. I think he was on a billboard or something like that, about to off himself. But that guy was somewhat associated with Henchmen. And you can see Playboi Carti laughing at the guy in the live stream, as well as Playboi Carti affiliates. Henchmen and Homicide Gang being the crew that's signed to Playboi Carti, they're ops in the streets. Playboi Carti, he's street affiliated, although as far as we know, he didn't necessarily grow up like that. So this beef has been going on for a while. After the song "You're the Moon," Benji responded with his own diss track. And then what happened was this news first surfaced from Your Rage. Your Rage was on a stream with Playboi Max, both streamers, that had some inside scoops, and they let everyone know why Benji Bluebills wasn't streaming, or wasn't on not only their stream, but on Rolling Loud. So I'm going to play that clip for you guys right now.
Benji was supposed to perform today and shit. For real? Why didn't he? Carti wasn't with it. I promise you, he told Rolling Loud. I swear by life. So Rolling Loud until LAPD. If you see this nigga face, you got to escort him out of there.
I'm not going to lie, that's swag, though.
That's not swag, that's whole shit.
No, on Carti's behalf, it is.
You said what?
I fuck with Benji, though. He should have performed.
That's whole shit, bro. Stuff my niggas bad, bro.
What day was he going to perform?
Today.
Damn.
Today.
He said, nah, that nigga can't perform.
Bro, he showed Rolling Loud a picture of this nigga to the LAPD. Yo, if this nigga
Stop playing.
I swear by life.
Is he on the?
He was on it. He was on it, and they took him on last second.
Damn. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's whole shit, bro. That's whole shit, bro.
So what you think? If you Benji, what you doing?
Yeah, I'm crashing, nigga. It's up, bro. The beef is, you feel me?
I mean, what is there to crash on,
You don't have to see me, nigga.
Well, there you have it. Benji Bluebills has also reacted to and laughed at Playboi Carti's outfits, Playboi Carti's arrest footage, many other different things. And he's built a fan base for himself. There are a lot of Carti fans that are Benji Bluebills fans, because I wouldn't necessarily say the music is the same. The music is quite similar. It's entertaining in the same way that, if you guys recall, Lil J, before he turned himself out in prison, he got a big fan base from being Chief Keef's op, as did other people that didn't mess with Chief Keef at the time. And this is similar to this conflict that's going on in Atlanta. With Chicago, it was a little bit different because some people chose to take sides, but I think this is foul from Playboi Carti. Now, Playboi Max says, yeah, that's kind of tough from Carti. I mean, is it? Because Rolling Loud does a very, very good job of making sure that artists don't run into each other, especially backstage when they're set to perform. And this isn't, number one, I don't think Carti should care about this guy, but for him to go out of his way to get him blackballed from a show, I just think it's somewhat seeing him as a threat. That's not how I would have expected Carti to move, because if Carti's moving with this mentality of like, yeah, we from the streets, this and that, or not we from the streets, but it's on site, when I see you, it's up, or I was looking for you, well, you knew exactly where he was going to be. And this is the type of moment where, if you wanted to, I'm not saying Carti should do this, but this is a moment where he would make something happen. He would make sure Benji Bluebills, he just got a little polish polish up a little bit under his eye. You don't got to kill him or anything. You don't got to stab him. We don't need to have a Draco the Ruler situation, but let him know what's going on. Give him a little straightening, as the Migos would call it. The same way that Russ was running down on Smoke Perp and he was pulling up on Guap Dad and was trying to throw hands with a bunch of other rappers when he ran down on them and he knew where they were going to be. Now, I'm not saying Playboi Carti has to actually do this, but just make Benji Blue Bills feel unsafe. But to block him off is something like we would expect from someone that was afraid of Benji Blue Bills. And I'm not saying that Carti was necessarily afraid, because, to get anywhere near Carti and his crew, you had Kai Cenat that damn near got kicked out of there by security and had to get the CEO of Rollin' Loud, I believe it was Tariq, that helped him out, that made sure that he was able to get on stage. Him and that other guy, Dabo, the really big Carti stan. So Carti has such strong leverage with Rolling Loud now that he's able to make a move like this. And we've seen before, the only times people get removed from Rolling Loud is if NYPD, in one scenario, they did it because there was some Bronx gang beef going on and they wouldn't allow them to perform. But Rolling Loud said, hey, look, the NYPD is forcing us to do this and we're doing it against our will. But in this scenario, it's not the NYPD and it's Playboi Carti. And I understand what Rolling Loud is doing. At Rolling Loud, Playboi Carti is their headliner. If he doesn't do the show, people are going to be mad. People are going to be charging back. People are going to be asking for refunds. People are going to be dissing Rolling Loud. They're not going to blame Playboi Carti, who's the guy that didn't show up to the show. They're going to blame it on Rolling Loud. Now, does that make any sense? Absolutely not. And it genuinely frustrates me how people think that, oh yeah, the festival screwed us over because the artist didn't show up. No, you and the festival got screwed over because the artist didn't show up. And regardless, Playboi Carti is a mainstay staple headliner at Rolling Loud the past couple of years. He's had premieres on there. This was his first performance since dropping his album. So they want to keep the guy happy. It's not as if it was, I don't know, someone that's third or fourth row on the list. So they had to appease him, and I understand it from their perspective as a business. But I think I feel bad for the dude, Benji Blue Bills, because the guy's on the come up. He's doing his thing. These are opportunities that are getting blocked. Rolling Loud is a big opportunity for the guy. Do I think it'll necessarily harm his career? No. I would say that him getting blackballed by Carti and talking about it and having Your Rage talk about it, Blackboy Max talk about it, everyone else that may or may not talk about it, I'm not going to gas myself up like me talking about it is a big deal. I'm not that big of a deal. I understand my role and my place, and I stay there. And him, let's say, even making music about it, like he capitalized the last time when the Year of the Moon song came out. I think that'll actually advance his career further than him having performed at Rolling Loud. Because if he performs at Rolling Loud, he's going to be one of the early performers. A couple of people are going to see him. Maybe he gets some clips out of it. It's not going to go that far. Whereas this moment is going further for him because of the news related to Carti. So from Carti's perspective, I don't like it. I don't like the move that he did. If he was going to do anything, it should have been to, I don't know, have someone say what's up to him, someone press him, I guess, if he wanted to do something, or just leave it alone and pretend that nothing ever happened. But you're not doing anything. The option was to either just do your set where nobody was going to bother you. You were never going to run into Benji Blue Bills. He was going to be out of Rolling Loud hours before you even got there. And nobody would have called it out. Nobody's saying, yo, Carti didn't run down on Benji Blue Bills. He was out Rolling Loud. I thought you were looking for him. No Carti fan is saying that. They're not even thinking about Benji Blue Bills unless they're fans of him. So I hope this guy's able to capitalize on the situation. Personally, while I understand what Rolling Loud did, and while the behavior that Carti exhibited, the reason why it doesn't take me for a loop is because I expect this out of Carti's character from what I've seen from him in the past 10 years. So it's expected that he does something like this. Do I think it's right? No. Do I agree with it? No. Would it be something that I did? I'm not sure. Haven't run into that situation yet. But I also wouldn't say, yo, I'm looking for this person and then get them blocked off from a show. I definitely wouldn't do those two things in tandem or one after the other. But Carti's a little bit slimy, man. He does do this slimy type of stuff, and he's done it to other people in the past, which I'm not going to get into in detail. So for Benji Blue Bills, I just don't like to see it in my heart for an upcoming artist to have opportunities blocked. But I hope he's able to capitalize on the situation. Hope he stays consistent in making his music. And most importantly, out of all of this, I hope the guy stays out of jail so he can change his life and those people around him. But mainly change his life. It may be another conversation for another day where these artists feel the need to, once they get on, help change the people's lives around them. Hell nah. F the people around you. I mean, appreciate them if they supported you, but it is not your responsibility to start financially taking care of people because you don't know how long your career is going to last. And a 3-year career can last you for the rest of your life financially, but if you're taking care care of a bunch of people, it's not going to look too pretty. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Be completely fair and unbiased. Do you think this was cool by Carti? I'm not going to judge you, to be honest. I will read through the comments like I usually do. But yeah, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go to helloyassine.com and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace.